First of all, to Coach Fuente and Virginia Tech, it's not an accident that their program has had the kind of success they've had. They're well coached. They have a great vision. They have amazing support, and their players play really hard, and as they did again today. And I respect their program, and I respect them as a rival, and the quality of their program has helped us improve our program. And they've set a standard that has been helpful for us to measure against and to grow against in the short time I've been here. And I think that's happened. Our team, especially our quarterback, played really well today. The stage was not too big for them. The moment was not too big for them. What was at stake was not too big for them. They believed that they were capable and prepared to perform in this setting, and they did. And that started from our quarterback position. I think that started from a year ago in this game. We started fast, and then the second half was just a game of adjustments. Tech made some really nice adjustments, and we adjusted as well. And that just went back and forth all the way to the very end, as an in-state rivalry division championship game should be. And for all those that attended today, I'm grateful for their attendance, for their support, and for what it looked like in Scott Stadium. I had a vision or a thought of what that could be 4 years ago, and today was as close as I've seen to what is as possible at Scott Stadium. I'm thankful for my staff, all the families that came across the country. So thankful for the trust the players have put in or allowed themselves to have in myself and the direction we're taking and have taken. And I'm just grateful to see their smiles and all their hard work. It's a good day for Virginia football.
We'll start with Jeff.
You fell behind 3 times in the second half and came back each time. Does winning that way make this any more special?
You know, certainly the answer is yes, just because it was harder. And it just kept showing how resilient the team is. We've had to change the nature of how we play, just as the season has gone, with how our roster has just been affected here or there. And different position groups and different players at different times just seem to keep emerging at the right time to help us win. Noah Taylor, Eli Handback today, after Bryce Perkins. You saw Hassis, you saw Billy Kemp. I mean, there's the number of sacks there at the end. There just was, I liked that in coming back and in falling behind, the number of plays that had to be made from different players was, it had to happen that way. And I think it made it more meaningful.
Mike and Doug.
You have spoken repeatedly about the growth and the progress being steady, continuous, etc. When you think about this step, a division title, ending with a losing streak, where does that fit in, and how important a step is this?
It's an essential step. You can't build a consistent conference or national contender unless you own your state. You have to win your division before you can win the conference championship. Those things are all, those just have to happen to have a quality football program. And quality means not just regionally, but it does mean nationally, and it does mean one that I think can be respected for not only what's happening on the field, but the type of student or scholar athletes that come and the standards that are set. And so we call it and I'm not sure everyone believes it is possible to do it that way. In terms of the metrics, yeah, we needed to do all those things to take another step for this program. And it just seemed like yesterday where fans were rushing the field when we won 6 games to go to our first bowl game. That was just 3 years ago. Seems like that's a long time ago now. And I hope that's not lost on the amount of work the players have put in the time frame they've done it. It's pretty fast, and they deserve credit for that.
Doug, then Hank.
Can you talk about the cap that Bryce has put on his career to this point?
It's No, I don't think there's anything he can't do. There's not a play he can't make. I think Bryce Perkins changes the face of UVA football. This era certainly doesn't happen with Bryce at quarterback. And I have to, without Bryce at quarterback. And I will also say, and I'm not so sure it would happen without Robert and I coaching him, and Jason Beck, and putting him in position. The points don't just manifest accidentally. And Bryce has been used really well, and he's responded really well, and he's been coached really well and developed within 2 years from how he arrived. And so my staff, I'm really impressed with the job they've done and the steady progress he's made.
Hank and David.
Bronco, you set this as a priority since you got here. Obviously, a pretty emotional day for you and for your players. And 8 days from now, you have to play the number 3 team in the country for the ACC championship. How hard is it going to be to go from this high to back to focused for that game?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never done it. It'll be a challenge until tomorrow. And then we'll move on as hard and as fast and as lucky. And it's not an accident that we're going. We don't intend just to take a trip to see what it looks like. We're going to go try to win the game. And that's what our players would want, and that's what we're going to work to do.
David and Steve.
Bronco, right over here. For the first 57 minutes today, you had 3 sacks. Then when it mattered most, you got 3 in a row. Did you do anything from a defensive standpoint that allowed you to get those 3 consecutive sacks?
Yeah, really the situation of the game changed. We just could not dial in when they were going to run or when they were going to throw, and so we were guessing the entire second half. The situation that Tech was placed in at the end, we knew they were going to throw, and that allowed us to actually make the right calls versus what they were going to do. To their credit, they had us off balance the second half, and our players responded. Field goals mattered rather than touchdowns in critical moments. And but when we were actually able to know they were going to throw it, that's a lot easier, and it showed.
Andy, then Jeff.
Bronco, it's kind of a mass of bodies on the field at the end of the game there. I didn't know if you had a chance to look around and take it all in. There's some parents on the field with their kids who obviously have never seen this happen before. The students that rushed the field were maybe in diapers when this happened last time. I know you've been here 4 years. Has it dawned on you what this means to UVA as a whole and some of these people that have maybe been waiting a lot longer?
I can't fathom. I know 4 years seems like a long time to me. For those that have had it be 15, it's hard to imagine. I didn't have time to take it in. I was trying to find Justin to shake hands, and there was just no chance. So by the time I made it around the crowd, anyway, we did get matched up in his tunnel, and it was just amazingly classy of him to come out from his team as we finally were able to get just a chance to shake hands. And I missed basically the rest of it. Not necessarily from, I could certainly sense it and feel it, but the magnitude I don't think I can grasp right now for those fans and for the UVA faithful that have been through the rest.
Jeff, then
You got a first down early in the second quarter on a long pass to Joe Reed, or a big gain from Joe Reed, then not another one until late in the third quarter. And then from that point on, the offense moved up and down the field. What was kind of the sticking point for a quarter and a half, and what changed late in the game?
It's just matching and adjusting. Virginia Tech has a very strong and capable offensive coordinator, and we had some good answers early, then they adapted, and we struggled to match for a while. And then we seemed to gain our footing and understanding our execution versus what they were doing, and that allowed us to break free again. And it was a challenging game from a schematic standpoint from both sides, just the changes and matchups that were happening cerebrally.
David and Doug. To your right.
You end up winning by 9. but with it's still a tie game with less than 2 minutes left. Talk about Delaney's field goal and how critical it was.
Man, how fitting after a missed extra point early, and I thought that was going to haunt us. And I guess you'd have to think, when was the last time, at least in my tenure, that we kicked the ball through the uprights in that kind of pressure-filled moment to win a football game. And it's just another breakthrough, and really proud and happy for Brian because he's done a really nice job all year.
Highest career high.
Awesome.
Bronco, everything else aside, how glad are you that you won't have to answer questions about that streak anymore?
Yeah, pretty glad.
Brad?
Coach, the kids apparently overruled you. I'm right here in the middle with the beard. Thank you. Kids overruled you apparently and had you break the rock. What was that moment like for you?
Yeah, it's ultimate compliment.
Senior days can be kind of emotional before they start. Have you ever had one end so emotionally?
Not that I can recall.
You told the first class of players you had here, the first group, that you were going to win in Charlottesville, and they would win too as soon as they joined in and bought in. What does it mean to be here? You mentioned how quickly you are, in terms of how people have bought into what you're trying to do.
It's hard to describe because I saw the beginning from the inside, not from the outside, and it's the most challenging thing I've ever taken on. And that they continued on and kept believing and trusting, and there had been enough results with their trust to keep that happening. And it just, I would never count them out based on just how willing they are to embrace the information we give them and try hard. And it's a powerful lesson, I think, just how trust is formed through credibility and consistency, both ways, coach to player, player to coach.
We'll have two last questions, Ed and Jerry.
Coach, Joe Reed, every time he was back there, he let the kick go out of the end zone, except when you guys fell down 20-13. Was that his decision to bring that out? Was that you guys wanting to create a spark? Because it didn't get back to the 25, but it seemed to shift the mindset of your team.
It was Joe's decision. Joe has the ability to come out whenever he wants. We think he's earned that right. I trust him, and if he thinks he can come out with it, then go for it. Virginia Tech is strong in their kick coverage. They did a nice job, and I really thought if this game didn't go in our favor, their punt returns and kick returns and the field position established might have been the difference. I kind of sensed that. And so they did a nice job returning kicks on us today. And, yeah, I think Joe was trying to answer in his own way.
Before Jerry's last question, I just want to let everybody know that Sunday at 4 o'clock, Coach Mendenhall will be on a teleconference for the ACC Championship game. Dabo Sweeney will follow Coach at 4:30. And there'll be players on conference calls on Monday. We aren't going to have an in-person press conference on Monday. I'm going to talk to Coach about maybe him being available after one of the practices real quick in town. But go ahead, Jerry.
One of the guys you admire most on this team, who never seeks glory, ended up scoring the winning touchdown. How gratifying was that to see that?
Oh, man. How about Eli Hanback being the final touchdown after 4 years, starting every game, and just there's never been a moment where he's faltered or wavered. It hasn't just been anything other than resolute. And I mean, that can't be scripted any better. I mean, there's a movie that ought to happen about that. I don't know who would play Eli, but they'd be pretty lucky.
Who would play you?
That just any random person. From my seat as the head coach, I appreciate your coverage. The chance to kind of partner with you. That doesn't always go well, but I think we've been treated fairly and accurately, and I appreciate that. So thanks.